What's happening, sports fans? We got another great top recruit to talk to right now. It's Kate Rothman from Torrey Pines. She is going to go play lacrosse at Cal, the Big Bear school, compared to my little baby bear school that I graduated from. So congratulations on going to the bigger, more classical, better academic institution and playing Division I sports. Why the Golden Bears?
Thank you. I chose Cal because it was kind of like the perfect balance of everything that I wanted in a school. I've always had like a big emphasis on academics, and obviously they have top tier academics at Cal, and that's something I'm like really focused on. I know that the opportunities I'll get from attending Cal will be great in the future. And then just kind of seeing like the coaching staff and the chemistry that the team had, and as well as the culture, I kind of just knew that that would be like the right fit for me.
So I'm sure that Cal is probably always on everybody's radar in terms of colleges they want to go to, but was it literally always just something that you're like from day one, hey, that's the dream school, I really want to go there? Or how did it kind of wind up becoming on that short list for you?
Yeah, no, totally. I had never really thought. I'd always like thought Cal was a great school, obviously, and I never like was against going there, but it was never really on like my initial list of schools that I was looking at. And it kind of happened really late in my recruiting process. They kind of reached out to me after seeing me at a few tournaments, and so I'd never really been to any of their camps or kind of like reached out to them. I'd like sent a few emails and stuff, but once they reached out to me and got me on campus and I had watched like some of their games and stuff like that, I kind of just knew that that would be right
Okay,
for
so it
me.
goes from not on the radar necessarily to being the school of your
Yeah,
dreams.
totally.
Was there one singular aha moment where you just like you stepped foot on campus and a light shone down from the heavens, or was it a slow buildup of stuff?
um, yeah, I don't. I think it was more of a build-up. I have two friends who are on the team there who I played with at Torrey, and they're awesome, and they just tell me how much they love it. And I have a few friends from my old school who go there for academics, not sports, and they love it. And I don't think there was really like a like defining moment where I was like, this is for me. But kind of being on campus for a camp and then going on like an unofficial and just talking to people, seeing more of like the campus itself, not on the lacrosse side. Then I think it was more of a build up, just knowing that all those different factors would just be like the right fit.
You mentioned a couple of your former teammates on the team there. Let's talk a little bit about your time at Torrey Pines. We've had your
Yeah.
teammate Mia Cone on here.
Hmm.
We've had the guys' version of it, the girls' version of it. Basically, you are the singular juggernaut of this sport on the West Coast. Is that an understatement? I mean, national rank. You guys are really, really good. So, what has the last 4 years been like for you being a part of the Torrey Pines Falcons empire or juggernaut or whatever you want to say in terms of lacrosse?
Yeah, totally. I've been like honored to be a part of the program at Torrey. Just kind of being associated with like Torrey Pines, that kind of like name behind it is just awesome. Like, it makes me feel like really good knowing that I can be part of such an amazing program with such amazing like coaches and obviously kids who are super motivated on both the boys and girls side. Obviously, like records and stuff, people see like how good Torrey Pines is, and it's just like a huge honor to be able to say like I played Torrey Pines lacrosse for 4 years.
Now, is it something where you kind of don't even realize it until you get out of it for a year? I mean, maybe you don't even know this, but get out of it into club season or something where you get to look back and be like, man, our team is super stacked? Or do you ever look around at practice and be like, wow, basically everybody here is going some sort of college lacrosse? Like, this is insane that this is our practice. Like,
Yeah, totally. My freshman and sophomore year, I just remember like every single practice, just watching the girls like do these crazy trick shots and just go so hard. And Evergill was just super motivating. And I just took a step back and I was like, wow, like I am playing alongside these girls. Like this is crazy.
was there a moment early on, and I I forgive me if I'm exposing you, but was there a moment early on where you're like, man, I am a little overwhelmed with this? Like this is that good compared to anything I'd ever played before, or what was the learning curve to get up to that varsity speed?
Yeah, totally. I had been like club season. I had seen like some of the best players in my class because I'd been traveling for like a super long time prior to high school, like just going around to camps and like tournaments and seeing all this talent. But that was like girls in my grade, so I'd never seen like how good these girls were in grades above me, especially like the seniors when I was a freshman. And so I was definitely a little overwhelmed at first, but they toughened me up. They gave me a few pushes, kind of helped me get my confidence going up, and it was definitely like a learning experience, and I'm super grateful for that because I think they definitely played a huge role in like teaching me to be the player that I am today.
Hey, look, I'll openly admit it. I got trucked like a
Yeah.
little kid my first time on varsity football. Like
Totally.
there are all those moments, and then we all survive them and grow up just normally. You mentioned the
Yeah.
traveling though a lot, and I love. I mean, we talk to you guys through the lens of being high school athletes, but very rarely are you guys just okay. I played that season, then I completely just walk away from that sport. So
Yeah.
getting to sign with Cal, I mean, that almost feels like it's a 365 24/7 for 20 years type like you've been basically grinding for as long as I'm assuming you can remember. So talk a
Yeah.
little bit about just like how what a weight off your shoulder to know that all those trips were worth it and all that
Yeah.
grind goes into it.
So yeah, I've been playing sports my whole life. I didn't really start playing lacrosse until 4th grade when one of my like best friends joined the team. I think it was like the Adrenaline Seahawks or something like that. And ever since then, like I joined club and I'd been traveling so much, playing on all these different teams, like teams out here, like West Coast Stars, and then Coast later on, and then I'd played with a team on the East Coast, Ultimate, with one of my friends who lives down here, and I just seen so much talent and so many girls who were playing at such a high level because lacrosse on the West Coast didn't start getting like super big until I'd say like a few like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's continuing to grow and it's so awesome. But when I had first started, like the talent was always like people thought it was always like on the East Coast. So I'd been going to the East Coast like a ton of times. Like my summers were spent completely on the East Coast doing camps and just getting coached by all these different coaches and like playing with all different girls from all over the country, people from like Japan. It was crazy and it was like super cool experience because I don't think I'd be where I'm at now because I've seen most like campuses. I've seen like a ton of different, been coached by a ton of different people. I played alongside a bunch of different girls, and I think that was like really good because it gave me like a broader view on lacrosse just like all around the country to like make that final decision for Cal. So when I did make that decision, I knew like I had made the right one because I'd pretty much been around most other things.
You talk about the very real time growth of this sport. I
Yeah.
graduated high school in 2009 from La Jolla High School,
Mhm.
and between then and now, lacrosse has gone from being the sort of second tier sport that you either were that weird kid who had moved out here from the East Coast or you
Yeah.
were a football player who needed to hit something and didn't have a spring sport to now
Yeah.
it's a very legitimate thing, and we have people going to
Yeah.
play at Cal and
Mhm.
Syracuse and Duke,
Yeah.
and it's like the culture is actively booming and exponentially growth. I am so sad that I missed out on it.
Yeah. It's
The
awesome.
opportunity to be a long stick midi, I think, would have very much appealed to me, just hitting people from a distance.
Yeah.
Very sad that I made my life choices of playing baseball instead. I like though that you're talking about how you've had a pretty global experience of lacrosse, because I
Yeah.
like to ask every lacrosse player, even the goalies themselves,
Yeah.
do you feel like lacrosse goalies are just a little bit mentally unhinged and a little bit detached from reality?
I mean, I think so because I cannot even imagine standing in front of a cage
Okay,
and just
yes,
getting nailed with a ball. So
and
I
doing
have
it with
mad respect.
pride. And doing it with
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm not even wearing sweatpants. I'm just wearing the
Yeah.
shin guards. And they're like, oh, look how
Totally.
dope this is. I'm like, no.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. I could never do that. So I have tons of respect
Okay,
for
good. You fall on
goalies.
the you fall on the normal side of the debate. I think I've only had one. Even the
Yeah.
goalies go, yes. I was a little different because I used to
Yeah.
brag about how my whole arm looked like one purple welt, and
Yeah. No,
I'm like,
it's
that's not normal.
crazy.
Normal human beings
I
go,
know.
I'm gonna get out of the way of that, and they're like, no, no, no.
Totally.
Okay, so good. I'm glad that you vote another one in the
Yeah.
poll of they are a little bit unhinged.
Just a
Uh,
little bit.
just a little bit. It's a sign of respect. We all need a
Yeah.
goalie, and the good
Definitely.
ones you
Definitely
can
need
really
them.
appreciate them. But yeah, they're all a little bit
Yes.
crazy. Um,
Yeah.
I hate to kind of have the clunky transition to a little bit of a sadder, heavier, more serious question, but what have the
Yeah.
last 2 months been like? I mean, no other high school seniors have ever had this happen, so none of us know what
Yeah.
this is like for you guys.
Mhm.
Open-ended, emotional, mental, whatever. What's been on your mind the last 2 months? How has this all been?
Yeah, um I had always been super hopeful that we would go back. I'm kind of that type of person who just is super optimistic about everything, so I'm just like pushing for the best. But then I kind of realized that we weren't going to be playing, we weren't going to have our senior season, and that bummed me out a ton because I don't know, it's like my last season with my best friends, and it was definitely heartbreaking to know that I wouldn't be able to step on the field with them. But we're do- the underclassmen did like a great job recognizing us. They had this whole senior week planned out for us, and it was super awesome and so thoughtful, and it made me feel really good. And although I'm bummed that we didn't get the season that we wanted this year, my last three and even into this season, preseason and the beginning, years at Torrey Pines have just been so awesome, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. And so I'm just super grateful that I even got the chance to play on the team, even though it is a bummer that we didn't get to finish out the season.
So on a lighter note, and I thank you for sharing your open thoughts with us. We've had a couple of teams come on and through the course of the conversation say that they really felt like they had a championship team this year, that they were really onto something. We have not had anybody yet lay claim to the 2020 Girls Open Division Lacrosse title. Would you like to come on this show right now and declare Torrey Pines the 2020 Open Division champions?
Oh, I will definitely claim that championship title for my team. I definitely think we could have made it there. We definitely worked on it.
That's
super
a definite.
We had a super motivated team, and we were just like pushing for that. That was on our mind through preseason, even the end of last year. I definitely think we had what it would have taken to get that.
Okay, so I want everybody to hit the little scroll back about 15 seconds there and notice the just calm demeanor in her voice where she's like, oh, definitely we're champions.
100%.
That's the kind of like killer mentality. Some people are like, yeah, man, we would have won the championship. They got to kind of hype themselves into it. No, Torrey Pines players are just with ice in their veins looking straight into the camera like, that was ours.
100%.
We were going to win that.
Was ours.
And then that was going to just be the beginning. We were going to make up our own state championships and our own national champion. You're just dry. You're on a bus tour across the East Coast, just looking for schools to be like, who wants some? Who wants some? Yeah, going to take them all down. Kate, we really appreciate you being on with us and so much for the last 4 years of entertaining us. So this is the part of the interview where we ask everyone to stay at least 6 feet away from her. Give her a round of applause, though, a congratulations, a tip of the cap.
Thank you so much.
Because you're going to be representing all of us collectively at the next level. So it's really awesome we wish you tons of success, and it's going to be really awesome to watch you switch from red to blue and gold next year. So everybody, thank you very much for checking in and sharing a little bit of your time with us. We'll talk to you soon.